All right, so optimism works. Oof-da, that's something. I agree. What can you tell us about optimism works?
So, through my journey at the private school, one of the teachers had to leave. We don't know why, whatever. The principal of our school taught a class, basic psychology. And that's when I knew I'm going to be a psychologist because I thought, wow, there's a way to help people change, adapt without negative manipulation, right? And I learned all these behavioral tricks and stuff like that. But when that summer, I told my dad, I do not want to work for LA pleating and embroidery companies, right? So the mantra is education, education, education. So I had to
Right.
read 3 books in 2 weekends: How to Win Friends and Influence People, Learned Optimism by Leonard Seligman,
Wow.
and I'll remember the other kind of self-help
Right.
um, the guru of positive psychology. I'm forgetting his name, but that book. And so what happened was I read those 3 books and told my dad I want to be a psychologist. And I went straight through high school, undergrad, grad school, and positive outlook without pablum. It's not wake up in the morning and say, I'm great, I'm going to make it, I'm going to be good, and then you're not impacted by negativity all around you or a terrible boss or a tough relationship. Yet integrating positive outlook with specific habits, that's what builds, it's literally resilience. Now,
Yeah.
we all get off track, right?
Right.
I'll never forget what got me through grad school was I thought everybody said you have to write a 400-page dissertation. The longest term paper I ever wrote in college was 20 pages. And I thought, I learned, tell them what you're going to tell them, and get out. Where am I going to get 400 pages? And I went to this weekend training called Fire Walk with Me.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's Tony Robbins back in
Right.
the summer of '84. And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Now, what happened was I'm sitting in the front. And so the second night you walk across hot coals and Tony's looking for volunteers. And he looked down at me and said, how about you, Brian? I said, sure. And I went up on stage and I whispered off microphone. I said, should the mentor walk the mentee? So he walked across with me and he said,
Oh,
the price of this. And I said, well, I paid for this already. And he said,
right.
no, you're going to walk 40 people across. And I did. And the whole point
Oh,
of
that's
all of that
beautiful,
training is
Brian.
it was amazing. You
Yeah.
can overcome obstacles. And
And can do it
that's when
together.
I knew I could get through grad school
I
and
love
I could do
that.
the dissertation. And my first year professor for stats said, with what you want to do and you want to be a seminar leader, or you want to do this or that, you can spend 8 years in grad school, pardon me, trying to do the dissertation, or
Yeah.
pick something simple, get your dissertation done, and get out at 4 years and go run your life. And
Nice.
that's what I did. So,
That's
uh,
so cool. I love
and
that.
I'm always my current wife, who I love the most, is I'm pie in the sky and everything's positive, and she's the not a doggy downer, but she's the logic counterbalance to me. So
Yeah.
she is great at that. So
Good. That's helpful too. Absolutely. Yeah. And then positive outlook, right? Oh my gosh. When we are being optimistic, when we are overcoming and resilient, we have a more positive outlook. Was there a time in your life where you just kind of had that switch into positive outlook, or how does that, what's coming up for you when
I
you think of that?
if when I think of myself, I if you look at personality styles and behavior styles, I've always believed optimism, positivism, happy. As a
Okay.
kid, it could be happy go lucky. And then I've learned over time, certainly lots of mistakes and lots of crashes and burns.
Yeah, lots of
You
humaning.
overcome that. Yeah.
Right?
It's easier to overcome that if you believe it's going to work out. And you just reminded me, classic cartoon. Some people will remember this from growing up, but you can Google Louie the Lion and Hardy Har Har. And Louie always wanted to escape the zoo and go on an adventure, and Hardy Har Har, the hyena, would come after him. And the irony is, Hardy Har Har was, oh dear, oh my, I just know it's not going to work out.
Donkey from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, that's how you land in potholes and don't get out. If you put together positive outlook with some planning, with some measurable goals, and you just keep moving, stuff will happen naturally. And then, of course, if you can get help from others, why not?
Yeah, it's about holding space for the positive and yet letting go of the outcome and staying positive no matter what the outcome is. And then, course correct, or whatever the word would be, and pivot. And yeah, I love it. Okay, so planning and procrastination. What comes up for you there?
I have become an expert in procrastination. And
You're real good, huh?
Does that put not potholes, but giant boulders in front of you? And so over time, I've learned you get up in the morning, do the stuff you don't want first.
Right.
And when you go to the workplace, do the hardest turn off work project first.
Yep.
Then you spend the rest of the day doing what you need.
And enjoy. The rest of the day is going to be fun. That's a nice carrot.
Perfectly said. And I'm a big believer in planning. So whatever works for you, apps. For me, I have to have it written down. There's a difference neurologically when you write it rather than when you type it. So you write it, put it on your desk, your refrigerator, your bedpost, and you get it done. You make it happen. It just start one step at a time, and it releases so much negativity when you do that. It could be from taxes to whatever, but to bring it back to food, when I called my wife after that doctor's appointment, I was working 5 hours away from home, wasn't knocking on the door. She was pounding on the door. I hadn't gotten her a key to the place yet. And she came in, put her luggage down, pet our dog, and she said, let's go in the kitchen. She already had 4 trash bags. We threw away every carb in the house.
Yeah, right.
Now, she took it home with her. But she said, you're not getting a chance to veer off. We're going to the market. We're going to follow this plan. You're going to be on vegetables. And so if she wouldn't have come that weekend, the scariness wears off when you're not working. So I was working 4/10. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, by Sunday morning, I can overcome this. And it did scare the heck out of me.
Yeah. Is this your second marriage you're talking about?
Yes.
Second wife. Okay.
And so
her background's teacher, right? So
yeah, she's a school
she
counselor.
Was on it.
She was on it.
Yeah, they're very sequential.
It's fabulous. And so I lost 70 on my own, 70 pounds. I had my A1C from, I don't know what it was, 7 whatever to probably 6, 5.8. And then when I woke up from the surgery, you ask the surgeon, should I still take this meds? He said, call your regular doctor, but you should stop taking the metformin right now. Stop taking your blood pressure, and then go see him in 3 weeks. And now you get dizzy, you have trouble seeing, any of those symptoms, go see him immediately. But he said, that's why this surgery works. It's almost instant change that way. And so I haven't been on meds since. So nice. I believe you can help people break that procrastination cycle.
Yeah.
And when you plan and just follow the steps, it just normally, naturally releases negativity. Now you pair that with learning how to have a more positive outlook,
Yeah.
and implementing steps to make that positivism work,
Hmm.
then you can keep moving forward. And it's literally just one step at a time.
Right.
And as your outlook changes, again, not pablum, you have to take action.
Hmm.
Your whole outlook, your whole body, your whole being feels different, better. And I know this to my core, you attract what you think about. So if you're
Yeah, you do.
around negative people and you're
Yeah.
thinking negative, you're going to
Yeah.
have a party like that. And if
Yeah.
you find others, and when I say like-minded, I don't mean everybody has to agree and have the same viewpoint as you, but
Right.
when you're around people who are positive, it's a huge difference.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. I love it. All right. So optimism works and it releases negativity. We've touched on it quite a bit. What else comes up for you when you think about even just releasing negativity?
Well, let's look at it in two ways. So
Okay.
confidence,
Yeah.
you release negativity. If you do nothing else, confidence is going to go up a little. You
Hmm.
pair it with the other things we just talked about, it's going to keep going up, right?
Right.
So release negativity. Next part. Look, I was furious when I got divorced. I'm a psychologist. I shouldn't be. I should know relationships. That, stuff happens.
Yeah.
Give my older brother credit. He flew in for a vacation, um, stopped and met me and my wife. I mean, he knew me obviously, but after the weekend, he called me going to the airport. I was going to work, and he said, "You don't have to prove anything as a psychologist. You're terribly unhappy. Get out of your marriage." And so I
Ooh, what
did,
great advice. Yay,
and
brother.
that weight got lifted. Now, I
Yeah.
became an expert on the road. I don't like me. I like doing these seminars. I want to do it on my own. Why don't I go reward myself for a great day instead of going in the hotel and having something healthy? I'll have chicken fettuccine Alfredo and wash it down with a cannoli and a cup of wine. And my negativity or poor confidence or poor self-esteem is emotional eating. It's
Yeah.
easy, it's fun. The negativity goes away until you wake up the next morning or at 3 a.m, bloated
Yeah.
and whatever.
It's an
So
addiction. Yeah.
it is. And with releasing that negativity, you're freed up to do what you want in terms of moving forward for yourself or your
Right.
family and your friends. And it happens kind of automatically. And then we all need guidance. I mean, I hired a coach. I went back into therapy. And when I say be around positive people, meetup groups on the internet, environment, whatever your hobby is. And so little things. I get stressed out. I watch a scene of Lord of the Rings or Star Trek or whatever. I don't spend 2 hours during a day where I know I need to get stuff done.
Yeah.
5-minute clip, music, comedy bit. And so I would encourage everybody listening to this, if you can memorize a couple of comedy bits you like, a couple songs you like,
Nice.
movie scene you can go to. So like, I'll never forget when an inmate was trying to intimidate me, and I just burst out laughing. And he says, "Are you trying to, make fun of me or whatever?" I said, "No, no, no, I apologize. Let me tell you why I'm laughing." I said, "You're angry because of your situation." I
Nice.
said, "And you're trying to make me feel bad about your situation." And I do, a little bit, part of me does, but I'm not responsible for you. And you've got to know 3 things. I have 5,000 years of Jewish guilt coursing through my DNA on top of my mom. You can't make me feel guilty. Only she can.
Oh my gosh, that's
Next,
so funny.
you're in your situation, and I'm here to help you cope and try to make your situation better. Try not
Nice.
stressor me. And I said, I was laughing because to help me cope with stress, because you are stressing me out. And just remember, between you and me, there's an officer standing right out the door. So all I have to do is go like this and
Yeah, right.
good.
By the way.
And I said, I just remembered a classic movie line from a Western I love. And he says, what was it? Silverado with Kevin Kline and Danny Glover and all these character actors. And Danny Glover pops up from a rock to save one of the good guys from the bad guys trying to kill him. And he shoots one guy in the hand. He says, I don't want to kill you and you don't want to be dead. And
Oh,
that's the thought that popped into my head while you were yelling at me. And he laughed.
oh,
Now, I had
good.
rapport with him and I kind of knew that. And my point is, if you can cycle through positive, quick things just like that, it relieves that tension. And that's one way to break the negativity cycle. Another way to stop eating emotionally, because if I get upset, the first thing I recommend is have a drink of water.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm doing that now because not because I'm upset, but
Because it's just a good idea
so.
right about now. I love it. Oh, thank you. That was such a powerful story on top of it. This was great. All
Thanks.
right. Thank you so much, Brian.
Appreciate you.
Same here.